When I share with tourists how excited I am about moving to Valle, Arizona, they just kind of look at me. And I think sometimes they even feel sorry for me a little bit. But when I share that with people from here, from Valle, they smile and nod. They know. They get it. Last summer, before coming to the Grand Canyon, I visited El Camino Real, the Royal Road, the King's Highway, a commemorative route that connects 21 Spanish missions in California. At every chapel I visited, I made a video containing scathing remarks against the missionaries, against the chapels, and against the Catholic Church. After my experience at the Grand Canyon, which I describe in my second video on this channel, I not only saw the joyful mysteries of the Rosary differently, but I also saw the 21 missions differently. Now, let me leave that right there for a minute. I'd like to introduce you to the work of research biologist Michael Levin, who has been studying the causes of aging and disease. In his most recent published paper, he describes the cause of cancer as cells losing their multicellular integration into networks that pursue large-scale anatomical set points. And then they begin to function as autonomous units that treat the rest of the body as an external environment. He describes aging as heterogeneous cellular phylogenetic dissociation over time. So in other words, cells decouple from their source. We know that each one of our cells is a miniature representation of our entire body. In other words, each cell functions autonomously within a larger system. While the skin cells in our big toe may have no idea what a nerve cell in our brain is doing at any given time, they both function together as a whole because they're connected to the source of their functions and systems. Once they decouple from that source and begin functioning independently, they malfunction. And I think we could say the same thing for society. We are meant to function as an integrated whole. So back to what I was saying about the Jesuit missionaries. I, just like a cell in the body, don't have all the information. So I might not be able to accurately assess something in history that I wasn't necessarily a physical part of at the time. But my job is to stay connected to the source, not to go off on my own. See, this whole idea of colonialism and manifest destiny is a very sore spot for most of us, regardless of our culture or racial identity. But I think there may be a whole lot more to the story. Take a listen to this clip.
My name is Jacob Valle. I'm an Algonquin from Western Quebec. And so one of the most important things that came up was the Turtle Island story, where it began. And when I looked at North America, I began to see what the elders were talking about when they recounted the story of the Turtle Island. And Grandpa told a part of the story. He says that the turtle was tilted sideways a bit, and this would be the Rockies. So what we see as Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Long Island, would be the tip of the mountains over here. Where they say the meteor fell in the Gulf of Mexico is actually the floor of the ocean, where you see in three-dimensionally the back leg and the tail and the actual floor of the ocean, which is the same depth on the other side of the turtle's tail. In the other continent is that they say the people kill their god, and they cut off their head, which would be the time of Ulysses, where he blinds the giant, the Cyclops. That would be our third eye. Yeah. So I began to look at what the world looked like on the other side. Like they say, the native people pick up the head, and they were supposed to bring it back at one point. So they tied it to the turtle's tail. And this would be the head. This would be the Amazon River, Titicaca Lake that goes down to the side. And you got Chile, with the mountain ranges. And and on the other side you have Kilimanjaro, which would be the elbow. The shoulder would be the European Alps, the Russian Alps, and the Himalayas that starts from Indonesia all the way up to Japan. And you got Australia, New Zealand, Madagascar, Fiji Islands, Hawaii Islands, and the Canary Islands. And in this story is that we were supposed to bring it back. Native people were supposed to bring it back. The people of the land.
Bring back
the head. As I studied oceanography, the leg is like this. And once you put the head back here, you see this creature. Why the two creatures? They're the two, that's what we call the two grandfathers. They're the longest living creatures that walks on the earth. And they have the memory of the evolution of the earth itself, where they recount the birth of our planet. Why do we call it Mother Earth? Yeah. Because this is the female entity. That's the grandmother, the turtle. And the male is that it has, this is a musk gland of the elephant. When it mates, it starts to run. This musk gland starts to run. That's the male entity. And it has lost its vision upon where it's gone. And this is what's happening upon the earth right now. Yeah. So when we go back to this turtle, the mineral that we're taking off from the land is part of the communication system of our being. The central nervous system communicates with these minerals, which is the microwave, electricity, all the communication system that we use, vibration. But since there's no more minerals, there's no more contacts, we're blocking every single river system, which is like blocking the veins. We're getting cholesterol. Yeah, those are the dams. Yeah. Where we're pumping the oil, which is the heart section of this one, and the heart section of the elephant as well. biologically speaking. We don't see what we are doing because we have been blinded. Atlantis speaks about these two creatures.
So I think we have a whole lot to learn together. And it seems to me that Valle and the Grand Canyon may just hold the key to the rest of our story as a human community.